America's election forecaster Allan Lichtman has spoken to NDTV, and he has a preference as far as his prediction for the November showdown is concerned. Between Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, the American election forecaster argues that Kamala Harris will be winning the race to the White House. Listen into this exclusive interview.
First question to you, sir. You've been closely monitoring and following many U.S. elections in the past. What's your reading of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in 2024?
Well, there are all kinds of anomalies in this election. A major party candidate, Donald Trump, a convicted felon, 34 felony counts, facing indictments in 3 other venues. And on the other side, an unprecedented withdrawal of a sitting president from the race right before the Democratic convention. But the keys are the North Star of prediction. They remain constant despite the fluctuating events of the campaign because they tap into the structure of how American presidential elections really work as votes up or down on the strength and performance of the White House party. And that's what the keys gauge. And the way it works, if 6 or more keys, any keys, go against the White House party, they are predicted losers. Otherwise, they are predicted winners. It was this system that enabled me against all the pundits, the pollsters, and other modelers to predict Donald Trump's win in 2016. And what we have this time is the most keys that could fall against the White House party based on my system is 4 to 5, 5 as a maximum. That still leaves them as predicted winners because it takes 6 keys or more to count them out.
So how many keys are there? For the benefit of our viewers, how many keys or how many parameters do you really have on which you decide?
It doesn't quite work that way. It works how many keys count against the White House party, and it takes 6 to count them out. So they've lost the mandate key, which is based upon losses in U.S. House elections. They obviously lost the incumbency key with Biden not running, but with the party uniting around Harris, they avoided the loss of the contest key. Finally, the third key that they lost is the incumbent charisma key, because Harris, whatever you may think of her, is not a once-in-a-generation, broadly inspirational candidate like Franklin Roosevelt or Ronald Reagan. So that's 3 keys down. Remember, it takes 6 keys to count them out. And the only other 2 keys that are shaky are the 2 foreign policy keys, because the wars in the Middle East and Ukraine are so fluid. I think those keys will split and Harris will be down 4 keys, 2 keys short of defeat. But even if they both flip negative, that means Harris is down only 5 keys, still 1 key short of defeat. All the other keys are locked in her favor.
Okay, so between now and the actual election, what according to you are those areas where there could be some lack of clarity or uncertainty?
The only 2 areas where I see uncertainty, as I mentioned, are the 2 foreign policy keys: foreign military success, foreign military failure, because of the vicissitudes of war. You know, we don't know exactly what's going to happen in Ukraine and the Middle East. Could there be a ceasefire and a hostage release? Could the Ukrainians stave off the Russians in the Donbass region and make further incursions into Russia? But my point is, no matter what happens with those 2 keys, there's not enough keys to predict that Donald Trump could regain the White House. For a while, I thought third-party key might be shaky, but the RFK Jr. campaign has fizzled. He suspended his campaign. For a while, I thought the social unrest key might be shaky, but demonstrations at the Democratic convention, turned out to be underwhelming, and the campuses have been very quiet. Nothing approaching the massive, sustained social unrest that calls into question the stability of the country. That's what it would take to turn that key.
Well, he's been called the Nostradamus of predicting US presidential elections, and I must inform you that Mr. Lichtman has correctly predicted the last 9 US elections. He missed out the one with Al Gore, but 9 out of 10 elections have been politically corrected by him. News and updates continue as always on NDTV 24/7. We're slipping into a very short break for now. Don't go anywhere.